Hey there, Mandy Marie. Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. It is a Sunday night live. Um, I'm going to be probably rehashing what Chris and I talked about in last night's episode. Um, that was the plan all the way up until right before I got ready to come on. It just dawned on me that. Maybe it would be better to have Chris back on and do a Q&A with the chat. So, because what happened last night, I didn't realize it until I went back to rewatch. The sound was off at times, and there were times I was not hearing Chris, but yet Chris was coming across on the recording, and there was there were just times where um, some of the message was missed, and there was a lot of stuff in there last night. That's why I wanted to kind of rehash it tonight. um, but I'm going to kind of leave it up to you guys in chat over the course of the evening. I'll ask again and again, if you'd like for me to try to get him back on and do a Q&A um, over what we have already talked about, or and if not, that's fine. I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and kind of dissect what we talked about. Well, we're starting out here on this screen. This is the last thing that is on my bookmarks. This is in my bookmarks permanently, so that I can go back and refer to it at times, such as this. And it's another reason we're doing it this way, is because I've only got it on my older laptop. I don't have it on the new one in the back. Um, it's a long story. It's a Twitter thing. I can't get my old Twitter account on the new computer. Um, yeah. Wah. Anyway, no excuses moving forward. Propaganda 101, according to Joseph Goebbels, the Reich minister for the Third Reich. Um, he's the propaganda minister in Nazi Germany. Number one. Now, I just want you to remember these four rules and think to yourselves, do these apply uh, to any specific organization that is operating in the United States at the moment? QAnon Trumpers. One, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. Stolen elections, prime example. Number two, the number two rule: accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. See a lot of accusations about pedophilia, but yet a lot of the people getting busted are. Anyway, number three, propaganda works best when those who are being manipulated are confident that they are acting on their own free will. This is how QAnon manipulated as many people as they did. They told the people that they were acting on their own free will. They were chosen. They were part of a select group, that it was them and Trump that knew everything. And we're going to see who was behind that here in just a couple of minutes. Number four, it is vitally important for the state to repress dissent, for the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus the greatest enemy of the state. All right. The truth is the mortal enemy of the lie. Let's just assume for a minute the lie is that the election was stolen, or the lie is that Trump is the chosen one, or the lie is whatever it may be. Every time you strike down that lie with a truth, to them, is a reason for dissent. Prime example I'm going to be showing here in just a few minutes. Picture of Trump without makeup that he does not want out there. Well, if you can only appreciate Trump in makeup, then what's your problem with drag shows and cross-dressing? Well, yeah, well, you know, it's different. It's different with Trump. You know, that's him. That's him. You know, well, what about? Just something to think about to start the night off, because we got a bunch of stuff to get to. All right. Title of tonight is Wars and Rumors of War. And again, we've got, you know, the episode last night with Chris. And if you would like me to ask Chris to come back on, like maybe Tuesday night and do a Q&A, rather than me go through the whole 40-minute interview tonight and break it down, I'll try to do that. And if Chris can't come back on, because he is a busy dude, if he can't come back on, then I'll break it down either tonight or probably Tuesday. So give that some thought. If you follow the channel, you might have gotten an breaking news today that there is a fire at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Here is the cooling pond. This is the cooling pond, leading back here where the reactors are. Okay, this is the plant. This is the cooling pond. As I said in the breaking news, the fires are at the rear of the cooling pond, not at the reactors. And this has been from Fire Information Resource Management Systems, or FIRMS, and it's a NASA satellite system that detects fires. And it doesn't just, you know, if you're just burning trash, you're not going to set off the NASA FIRMS system. It's got to be a relatively significant fire. And 4 of those are burning at this power plant. Again, a fair distance away from the reactors, which are up here, and the fires are burning back here. However, and I did not state this in the breaking news. I don't know it to be a fact, but we do know from intelligence that this cooling pond is mined, and it's presumed that this would be one of the areas that would be mined to try to blow it open to drain it out, if that was the intent. Which, why else are you going to mine the pond? So with that occurring, and with the United States having stated, and NATO having stated, that if you touch the nuclear power plants, that endangers us, and we will retaliate with conventional weapons, presumably on the Russian Navy in the Black Sea, which would lead to Russia making a decision whether they attack or absorb the attack, and take it tit for tat. If Russia is trying to start something on a bigger scale, they will do it this way probably, as opposed to a strategic nuclear missile, or a tactical nuclear missile, which would be the first option probably, instead of strategic, which would be a longer range and bigger payloads. It would be something like this, where they could, you know, they've already got their citizens propagandized, as we started out with. Their citizens are going to believe anything, because they believed the big lie from the start that, you know, Ukraine started all this and Russia had to do this. therefore, they would believe the big lie that Ukraine blew up their own nuclear plant to try to poison Russia. Um, that's why the fires are concerning to me, and why. And I'm sorry, That's why the fires are concerning to me, and why I did the breaking news. And yet I didn't. I wanted to make sure everybody knew it wasn't the reactors, and it's not for certain Russia's responsible for these fires. But actually, there is the latest update. There's only one update. This is not in the mainstream, okay? But keep in mind, last weekend I had a story about cocaine in the White House, and 3 days later it was all over the mainstream. So sometimes we get our information back here before others do, and some of them don't even know where to look. Anyway, we're going to keep an eye on all of this, and going to the Twitter bookmarks, which we'll do right now. I'm going to hop over here to the chat for just a second. Hi, Cunning. Hi, Not Going Away. Hi, Chrissy. Mandy Marie. Thank you all for being here. And those of you in the chat, would you like for me to see if Chris will come back on and do a Q&A to kind of touch base on what we did in the interview, only get it on a better quality, and have him answer some questions? Cunning says yes. Okay, there's one. I know there's other things going on online. That's okay. People generally watch this show, watch it on the replays. But I greatly appreciate those of you that are with me live. Okay, so far only Cunning's got an opinion. I'll keep asking through the thing here. So that's where the fires are. Hold on, Christy said I missed it, but might as well. Okay. This is where the fires are. This is where the new plant is. Supposedly number 2 and 3 and 4, the two middle plants here. Supposedly they have explosives on the roofs of the reactors, and the inspectors have not been allowed to inspect those buildings. Blowing up the two center buildings would probably cause at least minor damage to the two outer buildings, reactor buildings beside them. So, all of that being said, I will be monitoring all of that, and anything does happen, we'll let you know about it. Hopefully nothing does. So now I can't do that though, the way I got it set up. Sorry about this. I got to buzz to the top of the bookmarks here and get us started with a little science. This is how some people are getting water into their village. It is called I forget what it's called. What the heck's it called? Here goes. An Archimedes screw. It's a machine used for transferring water from a low-lying body of water into irrigation ditches. The Greek philosopher Archimedes first described it around 234 BC. This is a little more modern version of it, but an effective way of transferring water. Something we might want to remember should we find ourselves without the modern amenities we are used to. Okay, this is the latest on the Zaporizhzhia plant. This came in 6 hours ago. They're saying that there was that it's likely a controlled burn. Here you see the dry areas where the reservoir used to be, and this area in here and here and here are burning. The black areas are burning. So there's not a lot left to potentially destroy to get a pathway to drain the retaining pond. Um, they're hoping it's likely a controlled burn, but again, this has been going on. The image is from the 15th, which was a day ago. So that's the latest we have on the power plant in Zaporizhzhia at the moment. And again, this is the only thing I think anybody has. So starting out with this, this to me is I don't know. I got to keep the sound down. I don't know if there's music, but this is one of the latest. This is one of the latest fashion items. Okay, see if you can guess what it is. See if you can guess what the fashion is supposed to represent. I'll give you a couple of seconds here. Any ideas? I was stunned. I was stunned that this is in a professional fashion show, but you know, maybe that shows my lack of fashion, whatever. But here we go, the reveal. There we can see it. It's a shark suit it's a business suit for women, and I wish they hadn't cut the head off in the shot, but it is a complete with fin on the back and jaw purse with money sticking out of it. So there you go. That is I don't remember if this was France or Germany. Berlin Fashion Week, so it's German. And there you get a good look at the top of it. Okay. Dozens of donors with Chinese surnames gave maximum donations to George Santos within a short period of time this past quarter. Almost all had never given to Santos in the past. Chinese. Interesting. Something to think about. If you're a dot connector, might want to look there. Why are these newbie donors maxing out to George Santos? Why, indeed. Also going on today was North American Aerospace Defense Command, otherwise known as NORAD, had a personnel and aircraft are going to be conducting a planned live fly air operation beginning today. So NORAD's active, and it's just a drill, like everything else. Marjorie Taylor Greene warns at the Turning Point Action. We talked about this a little bit last night, the place where Charlie Kirk sold way too many tickets and then tried to blame it on the government. Hi, butterflies. Marjorie Taylor Greene warns that Joe Biden is trying to, quote, finish what FDR started, end quote, by trying to address problems related to, quote, rural poverty, end quote, education, end quote, and, quote, medical care, end quote. And then she says, it's similar to when LBJ passed Medicare and Medicaid. She, of course, will have health care for life as a congressperson, as well as a lifetime pension. Just something to think about. Okay, this is don't post this. Trump without makeup from a video. He said he didn't want anybody to see it. July 11th. And again, look how much different he looks without his makeup on. And And in order for you to like this guy, he's got to wear his makeup. Um, but yet, guys wearing makeup for drag shows or guys wearing makeup for just to be, because they like to dress like women. Um, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't do any of those things, but let your freak flag fly. I'm not here to judge. I'm questioning. Are some of you um, Trump supporters possibly blinded? Are you in a cult? If you can't recover until you admit there's a problem. Step number one: admit there's a problem. Um, and if you don't have any of your family or friends around anymore, and all you have is some people that idolize this guy, there's a problem. Could be a problem. Could be a problem. Just something to think about. Just something to think. And by the way, if you do find you do have a problem and you do find you're in this Trump cult, there are people that will help you out. People that'll listen to you and smile and nod their head and say, yeah, we've heard it. Yeah, hey, you're not alone. Despite how you may feel, it's okay. You might just save the country, because this guy says, quote, "It's better to be infamous than never to be famous at all." This is Roger Stone. He wants to go down in history one way or the other. It might be the other, but regardless, he also states 1 in 12 people are radicalized. And the question is, how do we radicalize the other 11? If 1 in 12 people are actually radicalized, I'm assuming that means on both sides, but I don't know. Because they're wanting an authoritarian regime with Donald Trump as dictator. And Donald Trump wants that, and he idolizes the other leaders like that. That's why he talks so highly about the Chinese and the Russians and the North Koreans, all the countries that are everybody else's enemies. He claims to have great friendship with, and however, that friendship is not not going to keep him from trying to elevate himself, as we'll show here in a minute. The QAnon shaman has gone the other direction. I said if you decide you're in a cult, people will help you get out. QAnon shaman's gone the other way. Says he regrets pleading guilty and wants to reverse his plea. And he says, quote, "I never denounced QAnon." I'll show you at the very end of this where QAnon, in case you don't know how QAnon kind of came about. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez has called for the expulsion of all lawmakers involved in the January 6th insurrection. Raise your hand if you agree with AOC. My hand's up. Totally agree with that. I think we can already list who they are. I think they already know they might be going. And if I were them, I would consider myself lucky just to be expelled from office and not be imprisoned, because that's, well, I'm not going to give my opinion on that at this present time. Ted, I almost said Ted Bundy, might as well have. Ted Cruz says the Barbie movie is brainwashing young girls with Chinese propaganda. Okay. I don't eat pizza. It's not my thing, says Sarah Larchmont, but she's referencing Don Jr. here. Let's listen.
I don't snort cocaine, like it's not my thing. But when I get it. My guys who I stayed in touch with, many of them are just dear friends. They're like, "Hey, dude, there's no way you would have gotten away with that." I go, "I know. Luckily, I don't snort cocaine, like it's not my thing."
No, I think he probably smokes it, but That's not an allegation. That is just a educated guess. And I'll show you a clip coming up. DeSantis canned over a dozen campaign workers today, and expected more to come. His big money donors have dried up. Fox turned on him. His poll numbers are in the gutter and still sinking. And don't tell anybody, but there's rumblings there might be an impeachment. Some people in Florida are not happy that the insurance companies are pulling out. They're not happy that the workers have all left. Um, People in Florida, he, he might have stepped into a bee's nest. I'd hate to see it personally, but anyway. Over my dead body's what Roger Stone speaks about, is according to Ron DeSantis. He calls him a backstabbing, treacherous little weasel. And that video is from Scootercaster. Okay, I don't know if this is real or not, but I will say that the two people I have talked to that went to the theater to see this movie, it was there weren't many people there. According to Cy Core, I just had an interesting conversation with a local cinema owner. You know that quote Q unquote AstroTurf movie? It's been sold out for 7 out of the 9 time slots. However, only 7 people showed up total across 9 viewings. Who's buying all the tickets if nobody's actually going? Great question if that is the case, and I don't know that to be the case, but as I said, the two people that I know that have I know 3 people that have went to it, and I've talked to 2 of them about it. The other one I haven't talked to it about it too much yet, but that would be Lori Arnold, and we're going to try to do that tomorrow afternoon on her channel. So a little promo and pre-plug there. Photo of Donald Trump at Epstein's private island dancing with a 13-year-old girl. Again, I've said, don't be surprised. And it's not, I'm not making this stuff up. I hear things. I got people on all sides talking, sending me stuff. When I say don't be surprised if something happens and comes out about Ivanka, I'm not just pulling it out of my kazoo. There are rumblings that there have been some secrets kept, and this Epstein Island thing, Trump's, Clinton's, there's a lot of rumors going on, and people are really starting to question why those lists have not come out. Who's on those lists? And then Donald Trump today, as we'll show here in just a minute, I think I've got it. We'll show here in a minute what he had to say about Hillary today, or yesterday, I should say. All right. Once again, a hand raise time. Raise your proud patriotic hand if you feel exactly the same way as Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. And this is Mark Hamill as Mark Hamill. This is not Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. And this is kind of how I feel. I'm not against all Republicans, but I'm definitely against this guy. And if you're with this guy, I have to question. I have to question everything, honestly. Quote, people complaining about my anti-Trump tweets need to understand. I love my country, and I feel it's my duty to oppose this demented psychopath with every fiber of my being, end quote. Follow Mark Hamill on Twitter if you don't already do so. Obviously, I do. But yes, he has a lot of anti-Trump stuff, and it's not, it asks legitimate questions. Um, okay, I found this incredible. Trump today reveals his secret plan to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. You know, he's been saying that. He's been saying, I'm going to end the, and it's going to surprise MAGA. He says, Zelensky is, quote, very honorable, unquote, because he didn't rat him out on the phone call. He didn't rat Trump out. Then he says he would tell Putin he will give Ukraine more military aid than Biden. That's how he's going to end the war. And that's on Fox News, by the way. Again, do they not, can they not see? How can they not see they're being played when he's telling, now all of a sudden, Zelensky's the very honorable one, and because Zelensky didn't rat him out. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I have a feeling we're going to find out. I just, look at you. How could, yeah. To call this cringe would be an understatement of the century. This comes from a friend in Ukraine. If you're planning to watch the whole video, make sure to grab a bucket just in case you might need to throw up. I warned you. What we are about to see, I'm going to play a little bit of it. I might get copywritten over this. Whoa! Wait a minute. I might get copywritten over this. I probably won't because I'm banned in Russia, but I might. So if I do, I will. I'll go back and delete this out of the video, and just you seeing it live will have seen it. Again, I'm not going to play all the music, but I'll give you an idea what the music sounds like. Again, the Z kind of replaced the swastika as far as nationalism in Russia. Instead of using the swastika, they're just using the half of it and turning it straight up and down. But here, I'm going to hush and take a drink and let you read the words. Here we go. Basically, we're going to name our nuclear weapons at the of course, my bad. That's my fault. I knew it would be too long, and I didn't pop it out. We'll do this one more time here. We will aim our Sarmats at the United States, putting in the coordinates. NATO, your soldiers should be dreaming about our Sarmats day and night. Doesn't really rhyme, but. The United States is surrounding us. They're threatening us with the deadly end. That's the same thing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying, by the way, is that United States has Russia surrounded by weapons and bases, and how would we feel if Russia was doing that to us? Well, whose side are you on? I'm sorry. If you can't see what's happening, and, there's going to be rumblings, and I stood in line for like 3 hours one time to get a book signed by him. I respected him back when he was trying to promote clean water, because that was one of the things I was trying to do. Anyway, so I've talked to the guy, and I don't know if he sold his soul to the devil. I'll have to ask Sam and Baldy, but something happened to him to where he kind of he's gone I don't know. Anyway, back to the song. The United States is surrounding us. They're threatening us with deadly end. They don't know what they got into. A tragedy awaits the USA shortly. And again, this is a rock festival in Russia. So now maybe you see why over 1 million people showed up to see Metallica and Black Sabbath and who was the other one in Moscow, the mega concert. Like 1.7 million people showed up. That's because this is what they normally have. Sorry. Our missiles are on guard. Do you know there are no flight assignments? Okay. I'm not sure what that. There are no flight assignments. Then they could come right back and hit you, dude. That's stupid. If your missiles are on guard, you better know where they're supposed to be going. But you're trying to rap to an accordion. So okay, hold on. Our military will program the coordinates. Oh, okay. On the closest dates. Oh, okay. All right. So we got plenty of time. Pindosi will wake up and our enemies abroad will get startled. Pindosi is a derogatory term for Americans. Oh, well, we learned something here, gang. Pindosi is, like when they were the USSR, some people used to call them communist gravy sucking pigs. I know maybe not in your area, but in this area. So Pindosi probably means, something similar. And all right, I'm not hurt. Sarmat, again, that's their nuclear weapon, is not some artificial Musk's Falcon. Okay, so Elon Musk's rocket ship's artificial. The one-way route is now to Washington. All right, so they do know where the coordinates are going to be going. See, now you already been caught in a fib. The citizens of democratic America are now hysterically working on coup d'etat. No, really not. The democratic Americans aren't working on any kind of coup d'etat. They're actually trying to prevent a coup. But, and hysterical, there are some hysterical people here. If you watched Damnation Drive-In earlier by chance, there was a woman on there, a 3-part series of foaming at the mouth, snot coming out the nose, eyeballs about to pop out, gonna sue everybody, and yeah, so there's some hysterical people here. The USA doesn't care about Ukraine anymore. We think this is very correct. Wow. Now, see, this is why we did the propaganda thing at the very start. If you're just joining us, you're going to have to go back and watch from the very start. Why did you, the horned ones, Sam and Baldy are in Russia. Why did you, the horned ones, get into Russia? Did you forget who made you wealthy? What does that mean? Tell us more. You really annoyed all of us. This is why we brought up our Sarmats. Okay. So far, I'm preferring Elton John's Rocket Man, but or maybe Bowie, but I guess this is their ode to rockets, specifically the Sarmats intercontinental ballistic missile multi-warhead deployment platform. You won't get away with it like you always do. It's starting to sound like a breakup song. I'm sorry. You won't get away with it like you always do. This is the end of economic exploitation. Actually, I don't think we're really exploiting you economically. We're kind of depriving you economically, which you probably aren't appreciative of. But you still get, at least the higher ups in your country are still doing all right. The Liberal Party parody. Oh, the Liberal parody is dead. Full speed ahead towards sovereignty. Okay, if you're Russian already, then you're living in Russia, you should already consider yourself sovereign, unless this is about overthrowing Putin. I don't think it is. We will aim our Sarmats at the United States, putting in the coordinates. NATO, your shoulders should be dreaming. Your soldiers should be dreaming about our Sarmats day and night. That would be a nightmare. It wouldn't be a dream, And I think that probably gives us enough of an idea, because I burned up about probably 10 minutes commenting on it, and hopefully we've analyzed it enough that it will not trigger any kind of copyright, because that is not the intention. I probably drove viewers off with that more than I meant to add to the title tonight. I have wars and rumors of war. I meant to add idiots and absolute idiots. There's a new movement on the right I was made aware of. Shave your head for Trump. She's already tattooed him right there. And I've seen a couple of others that have done this, primarily women. That's all I've seen so far is women. Solidarity, we need 1 million patriots to lose their locks by Tuesday to protest the evil indictment, meanies persecuting our wonderful president. First of all, the guy's not president. The guy hadn't been president for pretty close to 3 years. The fact that so many of you still refer to him as such is troubling. The smile, is I don't know. It's almost artificial. It's like, it's going to open up and you're going to ride through it in an amusement park or something. Again, it's shave your head for Trump. So many people with cancer have to shave their heads and anguish over it. And you're kind of making a mockery out of it, in my opinion. But, it's just my opinion. We've talked about some science stuff on here in the past, including the fact that the poles are indeed migrating and the magnetic field may be weakening, and that may cause more radiation to come in, which is just going to make things hotter. China reported a temperature of 52.2 degrees Celsius today, which is 126 degrees Fahrenheit, and breaking the all-time high. Still waiting to see. I haven't had it come in yet, what it got to in Death Valley today in the desert. That is indeed the hottest, officially the hottest place on Earth, and it was expected to get to 134 there. So record heat. Again, from Scooter, who was out at Turning Point. Quote, these people with Ukraine flags in their bio are more obsessed with, they call it entitlement reform. But what they're saying is they want to cut Social Security so we can send more money to Zelensky. That's J.D. Vance. Anyway, all right. According to Midas Touch, this man is an idiot. They're talking about Kevin McCarthy. He says, we don't want Disneyland to train our military. And this is his tweet. We don't want Disneyland to train our military. House Republicans just passed a bill that ends the wokeism in the military and gives our troops the biggest pay raise in decades. Bravo on giving them the pay raise. It probably is probably dead on arrival in the Senate because of some of the other stuff you put in it. I have done a little bit of research, and Disney has absolutely nothing to do with training, with training troops. So this guy's just pushing an extreme agenda. Actually, this is kind of what Disney did.
Time of war, it's typical, sometimes even useful, to demonize your enemy. We still see this today whenever a dictator or despot comes to power anywhere in the world. Caricatures and jokes, not always in the best of taste, rise to the forefront because it's our way of relieving aggression. So it was in World War II. Some people feared Adolf Hitler. Others mocked him. The Disney staff came up with the idea for a cartoon to be titled Donald Duck in Nazi-Land, giving the all-American duck a nightmare that he was living in a country run by Nazis. The title changed when a song written for the cartoon by Oliver Wallace became a runaway hit.
So there you go. There's a little bit of Disney involved in our armed forces. Here's another example. That one was from World War II. This is from Vietnam. And again, I'm not going to show too much of it because it's Disney and I don't want a copyright strike. But basically, Disney's always been pretty good to the military, including now having a discount package for those who have served. So, Kevin McCarthy, do you think nobody's going to actually call you out? You're Speaker of the House. Of course, you might be in a rubber raft. And on your way out as Speaker of the House, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's probably the one that's pulled the plug and is hoping you go down the drain while you try to elevate her. Don't you know how DC works, dude? Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene, speaking of which, okay, I've already played that. I forgot I had it up here twice. This is, all right, this one we're going to have to do a warning on. Oh, come on. This one we're going to have to do a warning on. There is a little bit of violence in here. There is some adult language. This is one of the most repulsive things I've seen this week, if not in a very long time.
I will butt fuck this bitch on the table right now. Please, somebody call Donald Trump. I'm not playing this game anymore, you fucking pussy bitch. Oh! I will butt.
Are these people a threat to society? A question that we're going to have to deal with at some point, because as we've talked about, there will be now. Actually, I haven't really talked about it, but here's the time to talk about it. When Trump goes down, and he's going to go down, he's not going to live forever. He's not going to probably avoid all legal consequences. He'll avoid some of this stuff. He will. And, Chris and I talked about it last night, that these charges that are up against him now, while those of us in the more sane half of the country, the more sane, because we're all infected with craziness because of all of this. But nonetheless, the more sane of us understand the seriousness of these current charges. His people don't. To his people, this is just, so he's got some papers. So what? They have no concept of secrecy or confidentiality or how important it is that the enemy doesn't see our potential war-gamed plans in case there's aggression with them. And they all have now because of this. And it is serious. But nonetheless, his people don't think that. So Chris and I talked about how, okay, if another indictment comes down, if he's indicted over this J6 stuff, is exactly what Chris says. If he's indicted over this J6 stuff, there are going to be people rising up because they're not going to be able to deal with it. Now, hopefully he's wrong, but I'm sorry. Anyway, we're gonna have to come to some kind of way of dealing with this. There will be some people when he disappears, however it may be, when he's finally gone, that will come to terms with what happened to him and try to move on. There will be some that won't be able to accept it. And those people, my fear is those people are either going to kill themselves or start killing other people. And it's just something we're going to have to deal with as a country. The sooner we start talking about it, even if it's just among ourselves, and the more we possibly prepare for what we would like to see happen, the better off we might be. I don't know. This could be all for nothing. We could wake up tomorrow and everything's kumbaya and everybody loves each other. Okay, I ran out of time to play this last night, and I do want to play it. I've got time here. This woman, I don't know her story or anything, honestly. But this video is incredible. Marty.com says it's the greatest TikTok I've seen this year. I would watch this as a series on Netflix, meaning watch her expose the people that are trolling her, I guess, if you will.
This person has been commenting on every single video I've ever made for the last year. He finds comments that I've left on other people's videos and begs for attention there, demanding that I expose Tizzy, who at this point I'm convinced he's in love with. The comments towards me are always misogynistic, obsessive, and threatening, and last night he decided to call me, in all caps, a coward-ass bitch. Okay, bet. You wanted my attention so badly, now you have it. I saw this license plate on a video you posted and found the dealership in Bloomington, Illinois. And then on this video, I noticed that you passed a sign that said Richie was nearby and commented that this town was on your delivery route. So let's see. Okay, yeah, that checks out. And then on this video, someone comments about your username being Beef, and you disclose that it's a play on your full government name. You go on to say that nobody will find out what it is. Challenge accepted. So I went to the very bottom of your follower list, because that's typically people you know in real life, found somebody, looked her up on Facebook, saw that she's got the same profile photo, and she's also in Bloomington, Illinois. And to save myself some time, because you sound desperate, I found a picture of her in a bikini from 2019, checked the likes, and guess whose name popped up? Keith Daly. Beef Bailey. Keith Daly. Same moles, same car, same petulant obsession with arcade games, so much so that you bullied a local arcade for closing down, and the same handle for your Facebook is found on your old Twitter, where you document your long-standing hatred of women. You can see current evidence of this in comment replies to him on TikTok. Keith, let me give you some advice, buddy. You appear to have just had a beautiful baby girl. How that happened, I have no idea. But unless you want her to grow up and know exactly the type of daddy she's got, I suggest you stop harassing me, because I'm petty enough to wait until she turns 18 and tell her myself. Stop bothering me and go take care of your newborn, you fucking weirdo.
All right. I don't know. I admire and respect that. So again, I'm not sure who she is. I don't know what her story is, but she's pretty smart. Okay, we're going to take a little break here from politics and world geopolitical situations, and we are going to go down. Oh, get rid of the music. I got to get rid of the music. I know that'll get copywritten. We're going to go down into the Marianas Trench. 90% of the trench is in complete darkness. This is a NOAA vehicle, a NOAA camera that's going down there. And some of the stuff is, I find it pretty incredible. Hello, Telescope. I see people saying hi to Telescope. How you doing, Telly? The light goes down about 1,000 meters. 90% of the trench in complete darkness. Some of these critters are incredible. Like this one, the barrel eye. This has just been recently discovered. A lot of these things haven't been seen before. Now, are there aliens living down there? I don't know. But I do find it curious that all this started heating up with Russia and Ukraine, and all of the UFO talk died away. Not sure what that's about, but as always, something to think about. State of the Russian army. I showed this the other night, and again, Chris said this is probably a propaganda piece to get us to think that they don't have enough modern weapons for their frontline forces. I was just amazed that they would include, let me go down to the end here. They would include this gun. There you can see, it's you can see the bayonet. It's a World War I gun. So either they are portraying themselves as weakly armed in a weaker manner than they really are, or they are giving us a warning that they're going to have to go to other weapons, which is what I think is what that video tells me. Talked about this last night with Chris too, the message to Congress ordering the selected reserve and certain members of the II Reserve. These reserve component forces are to augment the active forces for Operation Atlantic Resolve, which is our mission at the moment in Eastern Europe. augment the active forces to enhance the United States' ability to sustain its heightened level of presence in operations in support of United States European Command. Homeland Security reminds us to have an emergency kit. We played this the other night. The field rep from Wagner, I'm keeping it on here, showed this the other day. I'm keeping it on for a while. Morality is doing right, no matter what you're told. Religion is doing what you are told, no matter what is right. I don't know. What do you think about that? I'm leaving this on here too. I'm going to keep referencing this because it hasn't gotten any mention at all in any of the big media. We're going to have to do it from the grassroots. 86 Native American children, archaeologists found buried in an unmarked grave behind a Nebraska Indian boarding school. Republican Oklahoma State Superintendent of Public Schools, Ryan Walters, says the Tulsa massacre in Greenwood, Oklahoma, can be taught in schools, but the instruction should not mention the issue of race. Quote, let's not tie it to skin color. For those that do not know, for 2 days in 1921, black residents were terrorized, had their homes and business destroyed, including being bombed. The first time a bomb was dropped from an airplane over the United States was on that day. White lynch mobs. The event is considered one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. Let's not tie it to skin color. That's why so many people are concerned about the concept of removing critical race theory, which is basically teaching that, you know, this is how we got to where we are now in hopes that we can do better as humans. But instead, they're wanting to whitewash things in more ways than one, literally. Let's not tie it to skin color. Okay, this couple created a monster. Any ideas who that is? That is Donald Trump's mother and father. Yeah. Tastes like hate and disappointment. Meat is smaller than average. All sides are Cheetos. It's the Trump burger joint. Yes, indeed, it is a real thing. You do get Trump grilled into the top of your burger. And, okay, this is why I talk about it's a dark world and the world needs lights. This is a lady letting her light shine bright. The man was forced to give his dog to the Humane Society due to a lengthy hospital stay. The nurse went to the shelter, adopted his dog, brings him to visit daily, and will return it to him as soon as the man is released. Be the light in the world, even though the dark times. Yeah, I'm keeping that one on there. Chris and I also spoke, and at the very end, I said that there had been some Muslim leaders that had already said, you know, they plan on taking over France and making it their foothold for Europe. United Arab Emirates, UAE foreign minister warns Europe against radical Islam and then says, I think it's too late. So, you know, really, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and a lot of stuff we don't even think about. A day in the life of a leftist. This proves I'm not a leftist. You wake up at noon, you go to McDonald's, you charge your phone, you twerk for a while, you be bisexual, you eat a hot chip, and then you lie. So, how do you deal with people like that? You know, how are we going to deal with people like that? This was on Twitter. Do you believe Jews disproportionately control the world institution, banks, and are waging war on white Western society? 53% said 100% yes. The Jews are to blame for everything. A total of 77.6% said yes, with 24.5 saying it's complicated. And if that's not enough, who were the good guys in World War II? 55.9% say the Nazis. Are these uneducated people, or are these people that know what they're talking about and they want to be part of a fascist regime? Okay, I meant to, all right, let me run through these. Okay, I thought I had erased these. Oh, that's the one I wanted to show. Okay, my son, okay, yeah, never mind, I've already blew the punchline. Let me run down through here. Hang with me, please. I thought I had deleted these, but evidently they didn't go off of my, they didn't go off the scroll. All right. Quote, what do you need humans for? Question mark. At the moment, our best solution is to keep them happy with drugs and computer games, end quote. This is Yuval Harari, advisor to Klaus Schwab. That's this guy here, ready to do away with humans now that he's got his AI. Lead advisor to Klaus Schwab. Just something to think about. There are people that really don't want all of us around. Okay, there's been a big picture of Trump in World War II gear, like he was leading. There's pictures of him like he's marching with Martin Luther King. So there ought to be a picture of him as he really would like to be, which is fascist dictatorial leader. Our buddy Mike Pence, who did not get hit in the head with a water balloon, by the way. It was somebody else that looked like Mike Pence. It turns out that Mike Pence is so milquetoast that there are people that look like him in literally every small town in the country. But he says, I don't buy into the rich needing to pay their fair share. And he guesses why? He's rich. Don Jr. and Eric Trump were nicknamed Chode and Stank. I just wanted to remind you all of that when they were in high school. Here's Chode over here, and there's Stank. Don Jr. and Eric. Great haircut, dude. I mean, please. Did you do that by choice? Or maybe that was a thing then. Trump's saying, I have nothing to do with Russia, no deals, no loans, no nothing. Eric is saying, this is in 2015, leading up to the election, by the way, and they hope that everybody's forgot this, but I keep bringing it up. Russians make up a pretty disproportionate cross-section of a lot of our assets. We see a lot of money pouring in from Russia. Don Jr. said, well, we don't rely on American banks. We have all the funding we need out of Russia. Is this all a coincidence? Now, you can find these in magazine articles. This is not, this is not. Okay. Don Jr. says he doesn't do coke. I'd like your opinion in the comments, either to the side here or below if you are watching the replay. Thank you for watching, no matter when it is. Greatly appreciated. He's not on coke here, but what is he on?
Joe Biden is the guy.
Of course. Why would this, why did that just happen when I was getting ready to play this? I'm going to do it again. We'll get the volume up again. Let's see if we can get through it.
Joe Biden is the guy they're going to call at 3 a.m. if there's a serious crisis with Russia. Joe Biden.
Okay. Again, what are you thinking? Shoot, I meant to get rid of the massive bald spot desperately tries to hide, make Trump very sad. You can see the massive bald spot from all the way back here, all the way up to where the transplants are right there in the front. I just, this is my favorite meme. My favorite meme. This is, I didn't, for some reason, I don't have it. Reminder that there are Nazis in, reminder that Trump's a creep, and I think that's all going to come out. Here's what, okay, Trump came out today. I thought I had it bookmarked, but I guess I don't. Trump came out today and said, today or yesterday at that Charlie Kirk thing, the mega fascist movement, said that he's no longer going to call Hillary Crooked Hillary. It's now Crooked Joe Biden. And that Hillary from now on is going to be Beautiful Hillary. And that, you know, he changed the names because they've become friends. Again, his people are going to believe, you know, when's he going to do something? His people are just going to go, wait a minute. You know, the light's going to go off that, whoa, what, wait, you're what? All right. This is another one of the saved tweets down at the bottom. This is originally from Sarah Anderson, excerpt from the 2019 article, Interacting with QAnon was the article. People are fooled into thinking they are talking with real people when in reality is artificial intelligence, AI. They are interacting with QAnon, AI, experimental emotional cognition, manipulating people. Systems being incrementally tested. Again, this was back in 2019, okay? To see if AI is accepted by the public. If the public doesn't reject the AI, then it is perfectly acceptable. But what if the foundation of the AI technology is flawed and never corrected? Great question. This is from 2 Degrees of Separation between Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein. You heard these names before? They were important financiers of the transhumanist research. Thiel's on the advisory board of the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, whose director of research was Humanity and board member, and that's cut off. But there you go. In case you didn't know, Russia was behind the whole QAnon thing. It was all Russian propaganda. It was all AI. We dissected it. My gosh, we spent probably 6 months going through all of this stuff and showing the AI. And then people are saying, I don't know what AI is. Anyway, that's a totally different thing. How sad it must be believing that scientists, scholars, historians, economists, and journalists have devoted their entire lives to deceiving you, while a reality TV star with decades of fraud and exhaustively documented lying is your only beacon of truth and honesty. Again, none of us that are watching this at the moment get it. We don't. But the old playbook of just making fun of them and they're eventually going to change their ways, that's not going to work. We got to come up with something different, at least in my opinion, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Sexual orientation is not a choice. Race is not a choice. Place of birth is not a choice. Ethnic group is not a choice. Hate is a choice, which puts us back down to where we started, propaganda 101. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It's I've already been on here longer than I thought I would. I'm I'm going to call Chris tomorrow, and I'm going to see if I can get Chris to come back on Tuesday. And I should have the soundboard and stuff in the back by Tuesday to be able to do it back there and not have to worry about the Twitter scroll. And we'll just do our interview and a Q&A so that we got the right quality. And because the things we talked about are significant and pertinent. And if you got questions about them or questions about Chris or questions about anything, basically, we'll try to do that Tuesday night. Tomorrow night, Cunning Stunt. I think Lori Arnold's going to be on with us tomorrow night. I don't know if GA is going to be here yet. Hopefully she will. We're going to keep her on a 1-hour schedule so that she doesn't spend too much time. We'll do that tomorrow night at 10 o'clock my time, which would be 9 o'clock for Lori and GA and 7 o'clock for Cunning. So 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Mountain, and 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll be on tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking more about mental health and conditions. So I hope you'll join us for that. Again, I'll try to get Chris on here Tuesday evening and have a Q&A if that sounds good with everybody. So, all right, all that. Love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Love y'all. Live long and prosper. Peace. Positive vibrations. Namaste. Shalom. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings always be upon you. And I want to get back up to this. Got to run through some crap to get to the light, but we'll get there. Man, I got a bunch of crap. Oh, I forgot all about that. Did I pass it? Did I pass it? No, here we are. I want this to be our end screen. Man forced to give his dog. I just hope that if anything ever happens to me, that somebody takes care of Oakley. Man was forced to give his dog to the Humane Society due to a lengthy hospital stay. And the nurse went to the shelter and adopted the dog and brings him to the hospital daily to visit his person. Animals are not as animals have feelings. Animals have emotions. And if you can't connect with an animal, you probably have trouble connecting with human beings. I don't know. Just something to think about. Be the light in this world, even though the dark times, even though the times are dark, as I probably should have been worded, but be the light in this world, even though the dark times. It is a dark world. Do try to be a light. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Love y'all. See you next time, tomorrow night.